welcome in Seven Rivers Racing, KQE GTV, coming off of one race to start the 2015 season, and later this week, Rob Butterfield, 2 tracks, locally wise, get underway. I think my weekends are now done from here to October.
Absolutely, and that's a good problem to have around here.
Well, it is, especially with the wife, because she's been trying to kick me out of the house all the way through the winter time, and I really hate the winter when we've got all the short track racing coming on in around the area. We're going to start things off right off the bat. I had a chance for the first time in my entire life to not only visit Dells Raceway Park in Wisconsin Dells, but I got to announce the Great Northern Sportsman Series on Sunday. And I'll tell you, I had Wayne Lensing on the radio show last week. His biggest concern, I mean, obviously he was thrilled. He wanted 24 super late models, had close to 50. We were hoping to get 15 to 20 Great Northern Sportsman Series cars. We had 22. His biggest concern was the weather was scaring everybody, and he was like, if I can get half of that place packed with fans, I'll be generally happy. He'd have been astounded at watching that thing as full as it was.
Well, you, me, and Bill, when we were traveling up there, weather was a concern for us. I packed all my wet weather gear and ready to go, and we ended up getting sunburned.
And it was, yeah, Billy Doc Niles got sunburned pretty good. He looked like a roasted pig when we were driving home.
he was out playing golf the day before, and yeah, he definitely looked red.
Well, it was interesting to see because here we're at Dells. We're seeing a whole boatload of drivers, and it made me feel like I just skipped the entire summer, was going right into Oktoberfest, because all of those super late models are at Oktoberfest at La Crosse every single year. All the Great Northern Sportsman Series drivers either are driving at La Crosse or end up showing up for the area sportsman or the GNSS at Oktoberfest as well. So it was like this big family get-together in the beginning of April.
It was a really good mix because we even had some Tundra cars that were there as well. They were in the mix.
Regan May got into a tango with Timm. I was kind of surprised to see that one.
She didn't back down, did she?
Tell you, the final finishing order, it was kind of a thrilling race. About 25 laps to go. A lot of people were jockeying for position. Just when you thought Skylar Holzhausen was going to win this thing, here comes the man that's, what has he won? 4 or 5 Oktoberfest races, Travis Sauter?
Yeah, every time I show up to Fest, he wins it.
Came through and without any contact. I mean, he just kind of sliced and diced his way through with a couple of challenges with Johnny Sauter. Fought his way to the top. He gets the win. Skylar Holzhausen took second. Dan Lensing, who was awfully fast, he was the quick time qualifier. He took third. Ty Majeski, who's going to have a handful of races at La Crosse this year, fourth. And Nathan Haslai rounded out the top 5. Some familiar names that you know from the La Crosse Speedway during Oktoberfest, and maybe a couple of special shows here and there. Chris Weinkoff, who had probably, to me, the best appearing super late model car, took 6th. Jeff Storm 7th. Colin Ruffner was 9th. Regan May, remember she won that La Crosse race last year?
On the outside.
Never did a single lap on the inside. She had 12th. Tim Sauter 13th. Johnny Sauter did not have his best performance. Matter of fact, he bowed out of the race with about 15 laps to go. Tim Schendel, in a brand new ride this year, ended up 22nd. Johnny Sauter surprised me.
It was a shock to me as well. I mean, he qualified quick time, and of course they did the inversion, and I figured that he was going to be a mover, so my eyes were on him watching him come up through. It never happened. He actually went backwards.
The Great Northern Sportsman Series had a great 40-lap feature as well. A man that's been running for, I think he said, 35 years at 100 racetracks. Randy Bruning held off a late charge from Dave True. Matter of fact, we had a 3-lap restart right towards the end of that race right there. Dave True went to the top, to the bottom, to the back. He couldn't find his way around and finished 3/4 of a car length behind Bruning. Sparta's Chris Webber did a great job of getting through that race with 21 entries. He ends up finishing 3rd. And I'll tell you, this Great Northern Sportsman Series that Greg Oliver has, I think he's got a great thing coming. And he knew that there were 6 drivers from Minnesota that were frightful because of the weather, or else we'd have had almost 30 cars.
I think so. I heard the same thing in the pits. And the one thing I like about the Great Northern Series, just like the Sportsman Series at La Crosse, I just like that body style of cars. I mean, you can identify with them if they're done right. But it's so neat to see those stock cars go out there and get it done.
And you had such a collection. True to 2015 Camaro. Mitch Lyden, a 2015 Mustang. Kennedy, the number 9, had the old school that you liked. Even the writing of the car, right. Painting was hand done.
That's something that's gone away since vinyl came in and pretty much took it over. But I mean, you got to give a nod to the guys that go out there and hand paint their cars, especially when they come out looking so good.
Well, I tell you, for the folks that did not get to go, the Great Northern Sportsman Series will be making not one but two stops at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway this year. A big Friday night, July 3rd show, which a lot of people had a buzz in the pits at the Dells this past weekend. They can't wait to come out and race La Crosse on a Friday night this year. And to talk more about the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway, we are going to get things open this Saturday and Sunday. Dave Noelke, I don't even know what your official title is, Dave. You've got so many hats out there. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dan. Glad to be here.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Are you ready for the season?
We are ready. We're working hard right now. We've got the facility just about ready, and we know the race teams have been working hard on their cars, and we're doing the same and make sure it's ready for them.
Big changes coming to the track this year. Of course, number one, I do want to mention the return of the street stock class. During the winter time, I had a lot of people really talking about this class right here because V6s are found almost in any junkyard. You go on a Facebook buy and sell site. They're out there for $2, $3, $4, $5. I got one for $400. I'm going to try to sell you guys here later in the season. You had to have been happy with the turnout of the street stocks or the six-cylinder class last year.
We were. Those cars are a dime a dozen now, and a lot of them are on their last leg, so why not go out and have fun with it, race it a little bit before it's time to send it to the salvage yard.
A couple of other things we're going to get really deep into here in the second segment. You got an auto supply, which has been a part of that racetrack. I mean, not as long as I've been there, but even longer than that. New name this year, but they're still going to be affiliated with the racetrack.
Yeah, United Auto Supply has been a big part of the auto parts industry in the La Crosse area, and they've been a big supporter of racing in general. And they've been with the track since probably early 90s. And last year they were bought out by Auto Value. They're based, I think, out of St. Cloud, Minnesota. They still have, many of the same employees in the area and a lot of the same parts. So I mean, they're here to serve the community, and they still like racing, and they're still a big part of it.
And they will be the naming sponsor of the Thunder Stocks and Outlaws?
Thunder Stocks and Street Stocks.
And Street Stocks. Okay, we're going to make sure to get that name out there. Also, I love what one of our local businesses has done for short track racing here in western Wisconsin. We're going to bring that up in segment number 2. We have a local company that's not only sponsoring one of our classes at La Crosse this year, but the other things they've done over the past month or so with the 9 drivers that they're taking under their umbrella has really been a bright spot in the past couple of months here in western Wisconsin. We're going to talk about that and a lot more. La Crosse opening up on Sunday, Mississippi Thunder Speedway opening up on Friday. Bob Timm's going to join us later in the program to talk about dirt track racing. When we come back, we're going to give you a little more insight as to what you can expect at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway in 2015 here at 7 Rivers Racing.
Get ready for the Thunder!
The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Every Friday night.
Super stocks, modified.
600 mods.
Pure stocks, street stocks, B-mods.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for seniors. Students free with an ID. And this year, kids 17 and under free with an adult admission. Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder!
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
Some of the best moments in life happen at home. American Standard Heating and Air works smarter to make them all more comfortable.
Over $400 in rebates available on select American Standard systems. Call Carey Heating and Air Conditioning today for a free estimate.
We are back, 7 Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyke along with Rob Butterfield from the La Crosse Speedway. Dave Noelke in studio to talk about this opening's festivities. Number one, I think Dave and Chuck Deary both put in a good word with Mother Nature, because as it stands right now, media day and open practice Saturday and racing on Sunday, it looks like we're going to be good to go.
It looks like we're good for this weekend. The highs in the 60s, and it looks dry.
So some changes coming. When I say changes, they're always positive. Everything I've seen done at the La Crosse Speedway is for the fans. It's for, like Chuck says, the show, entertaining the show. Drivers are a part of that show. Fan base kind of is the circumference around that. This year, any major changes? Before we started the segment, Dean Satellite has came on board. They did last year. I think they sponsored the bar, put a TV in there. They're one of the naming division title sponsors this year. They've taken nine cars under their own wing. I mean, they've really done quite a bit to jumpstart their end of a sponsor with short track racing.
Yeah, I think they've kind of really stepped it up, and they are big supporters of racing. Dean himself used to race at the La Crosse Speedway, and I think the Thunderstocks he started out, and then he raced late model for a few years for the same team that Timm eventually drove for.
Oh, okay.
And but they're big supporters of racing, and they know that a lot of the racers and fans are from smaller communities and more rural, and maybe don't have access to cable. So I mean, they're good a market for satellite service and satellite internet, like the Exceed that they do. So, but they like racing. I think they told me that they wanted to own racing as far as sponsorship in the area. So they've stepped in big, and they're sponsoring our Grand National Sportsman Division for this year, as well as their several drivers and several tracks.
Quick Trip, obviously back again to support the late models.
Yep, Quick Trip's been a big supporter, and they understand that racing's important to the community, and they see it as a good venue. They don't do anything by chance. They do everything for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Ants Complete Pest Control is back for their second year now with the Hornet
their
class.
Third year, yeah.
Third year,
yep.
Wow.
They're big supporters of racing too, and they're big fans. They appreciate the business that they get from the race fans too.
And Mountain Dew, of course, Pepsi's coming to the racetrack this year. Mountain Dew will be supporting what I think could be a very interesting outlaw class. I've seen a lot of drivers building outlaw cars for the La Crosse Speedway this year.
Yep, if you like outlaw racing, which most of us do, because it's different, it's fun, it's fast, exciting, and those guys go all out on the track. This will be a year to go, so we got a lot of cars planned.
The thing I like about the Outlaw Series is you have no idea what kind of car is going to show up and who's going to be dominant.
We've had a Ford Tough truck there about 4 or 5 years ago, which was really
That's what makes it fun, is the variety that's on the track. And we got a dirt car this year, and we had a car that looked like a modified last year, and a late model, and you got a Thunderstock all together on the same track.
Of course, Cole Shozy's Fat Phyllis was a combination of, I think, three different cars, and that was an interesting one right there. So we've got all the same divisions coming back this year. The numbers, from what I've heard so far, are going to be simply outstanding. The drivers that are coming back, or those that have moved classes, are really going to add some entertainment to each and every one of the divisions we have at the La Crosse Speedway. We've got a Friday night race coming up this year, the night before July 4th. Usually we've raced on that July 4th weekend. What was behind the change to a Friday night?
Well, our tradition is always to race on July 3rd, because it's right before the 4th, the holiday. Catch fans when they're looking for something to do to kick off their time off from work or wherever. And July 3rd happened to fall on a Friday night. July 4th happened to fall on a Saturday night. Well, we normally race Saturday nights. And we decided that it might be best, rather than racing 2 nights in a row, just to race Friday night instead, and give our fans and our racers a chance to go do fireworks and family picnics and whatever they want to do on Saturday night the 4th. So it seems to be well received by the fans and the racers, and we're looking forward to a fun show. We're going to have a huge fireworks extravaganza that night. And
I always say it, folks, I don't just say it because I'm at the Speedway. They've got one of the best short track fireworks shows that I've seen in a long, long time, and it just repeats itself every single year. That night, you're going to have Tundra Super Late Models, Great Northern Sportsman Series, Thunderstocks, and that fireworks show to really help kickstart the 4th of July weekend. The regular big events are coming up this year: Trailer Race of Destruction, Eve of Destruction, Oktoberfest.
Yep, all the traditional fan favorites will be in place. Oktoberfest will be 1 week later, as Labor Day falls late, so we're always the 5th weekend after Labor Day. So we're October 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th for that event.
And then something that started a year before I got here, street drags. I want to say, is this year number 10?
I think we started in 2007, so we're not quite that far, but it seems like it. And we've got a lot of fun people.
And it has grown to I mean, I've talked to Chuck about this all the time. I don't think he ever expected to see the numbers of cars where we can get almost 200 to 250 strong on a Friday night.
All right, well, if you keep the competition out of it and just, do it for fun, for trophies, and that keeps the spirit alive for people that want to do it, and just get out on a Friday night for, some fast fun.
Now, on the street drags, how long is that track?
It's about 2/3 of the front stretch, so roughly 300 feet.
It's kind of fun watching them go into that corner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, some guys will tell you differently, like Jeff Grant, that I know has wrapped his cars up in that turn number 1 in the past, but it is so much fun. I think we have 8 different divisions for street drags. It's $5 to get in, $5 in the grandstands, $5 to drag, and I don't think the prices have changed on that this year, have they?
It's going to be $7 this year for entry,
Okay.
but the registration will stay the same, and it's still good, cheap fun.
It is. It's a great night, especially with the young kids that are in the high schools. We even have a high school class to support all the area high schools. Rather see them doing that than trying to do that illegally on the streets or whatever else mayhem they do on a Friday night. It's a perfect venue. They're making new friends. They're meeting some of our bigger division types of street draggers, and I cannot believe how successful that's been. StreetDragsLAX.com, matter of fact, is the website. They've got about 2 minutes left on the program. What else can we? Kids Club this year. What else can we expect?
We have a new kids club. We haven't done this in a long time, but we decided that we need to keep the families involved, and it's a lot of fun for kids at the racetrack. So why not have a club? Excuse me. And what we're going to do this year is that we're going to have a kids club membership where they buy a membership card, they get a free T-shirt. They're going to get free admission for every event that they want to go to through the first week in September on the membership card. We'll have 4 meetings. They're going to do drawings at each meeting for junior fan announcer. We can do a Dan. We can do a junior flag, wave a flag for one of the heat races, maybe for the Hornets or Thunderstocks, and do that with Greg Oliver and a couple other things. It'd be a lot of fun.
And this year, there's no way people can actually text me and say, when are the races? What time are the races? I've seen so much color print come on the La Crosse Speedway. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it on Facebook. I mean, this is a big year for the Speedway. When you talk about social media, for people to get in touch, you throw coupons out there and 2-for-1s and T-shirts. I mean, you guys have really grasped social media.
Social media is here to stay, and we have to embrace it and use it to every advantage that we can, because it's the sign of the times.
And of course, we're going to expect more Twitter specials this year, more Facebook specials.
Yep.
Get a part of the texting and the whole shebang.
Sign up for our mail lists, our email lists right on our website, and we do different coupon offering, whether it's for 2-for-1 fries or buy one get one, or get a soda with a hamburger or whatever, something like that. Even a $5 T-shirt coupon at the souvenir stand. So we got all sorts of fun things that can make the fan experience better each and every event.
And hopefully folks got that lime green envelope that came in the mail last week. Inside of it, great deal on a family pass. It includes food and tickets. You're saving like $60. They have 2-for-1 beers and sodas, cheeseburger specials. Everything is found inside of there. If you didn't get that, go to lacrossespeedway.com, at LAX Speedway on Twitter. You can find them on Facebook, and there shouldn't be at any time at all during the race season that you're not going to know what's going on, whether it's a special race, special night, or maybe even July 30 if you need more information there. So Dave Noelke with the La Crosse Speedway. Practice Saturday 11 to 3, I think was the time that I heard, and then 2 o'clock Sunday we're going to drop the green flag.
Yep, we're going to open the pits at 10 o'clock. We're going to start hot lapping at 11, and gates open at 12:30 for the fans, 12:45 qualifying, and we're racing at 2. First time of the new season, and come out and see all the new cars and the new drivers.
I'm just hoping not to get confused because I'm used to qualifying at 6:15.
Right.
So we're going to start a little bit earlier, and what the weather looks like right now, it's going to be a great way to kick off another fantastic season at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. When we come back, La Crosse kicks off Saturday Media Day, and the big race on Sunday with the Frostbuster. Friday night, the Mississippi Thunder Speedway gets underway with their first race of the season. Joining us in the next segment will be Bob Timm, the owner and driver, and he does everything but flip hamburgers up there at the dirt track. Bob Timm is going to join us here on 7 Rivers Racing.
Get ready for the Thunder!
The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Every Friday night.
Super stocks, modifieds,
600 mods.
pure stocks, street stocks, B-mods.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for seniors. Students free with an ID. And this year, kids 17 and under free with an adult admission. Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder!
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
Some of the best moments in life happen at home. American Standard Heating and Air works smarter to make them all more comfortable.
Over $400 in rebates available on select American Standard systems. Call Carey Heating and Air Conditioning today for a free estimate.
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to Sugarloaf Ford here in Winona. It's the annual Mississippi Thunder Car Show, and boy, I tell you what, the cars we've seen out here today, every year, it just simply amazes me how they try to pack in all these cars and the different classes we have at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. And we thought it would be nice since, well, the opening night is coming up this weekend to bring on the owner, driver, and man, it's got 1,000 hats at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. That would be Bob Timm. Bob, it's great to see you again.
Thank you.
You know, first and foremost, I want to thank you for allowing me to come back and announce this year and use some talents away from the radio and the TV set. I tell you that this is year number 4 already, and I've had simply a blast working with your staff and Dan Bailey.
Yeah, it seems like we've just started, you know, and it's been a pleasure to work with you guys, and I think we're fortunate that we get the best announcer tandem in dirt track racing, I think, and so I'm looking forward to 2015, and if this car show turnout here today is indicative of what we can look forward to, I think we got a lot to be excited about.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot to be excited about at MTS this year. You've got a brand new class that's coming on. You've opened up the Hornet class, and I've heard rumors upwards of 40 Hornets. I mean, this could be one of the largest turnouts at a dirt track I've seen in years. First off, let's talk about the classes. Times are changing, and every track is kind of seeing that with some of the older classes of cars. It's hard to find Monty bodies in junkyards nowadays. It's kind of hard to find the parts. So you did some switching around with Sportsman and Pure Stocks.
Yeah, you know, I mean, a lot of it has to do with, obviously, how difficult it is to find parts for them. Also, the amount of time that it takes to maintain those older bodies. Right. And, you know, right now, probably the number one, you know, issue in motorsports, period, particularly in car racing, is cost. And so a lot of the things that I do and that I try to come up with are all related to trying to reduce cost and be able to, you know, introduce racing to people that once couldn't afford to do it. And also making sure that we keep these guys out here racing, that they don't race for a year or two and you know, race themselves broke, and then we don't see them back at the Speedway. Right. So you know, that's really the reason behind the class changes that we made. But in particular with the Sportsman class and the Pure Stock Street Stock deal is what we did is kind of blended Street Stock and Pure Stocks together, and we made it, you know, Pure Stocks get a little bit more, Street Stocks get a little bit less, but overall the cost went down, and I think we did it in a way that doesn't affect the quality of the racing. I think it's still going to provide the same kind of racing that you see with a Pure Stock or a Street Stock. Right. And then also, instead of watching 7 or 9 cars, maybe we can watch 15 cars race one another. Yep. And then the same thing kind of with the Hornet class, you know. We really needed, you know, Street Stock or Pure Stock was our entry-level class, and I think Hornet really is much more of an entry-level class than those two classes are. Yeah. Now, the new Sportsman class that came up, I think, is much better than what we've had in the past, but Hornets is even now a step cheaper than that, and I think it lets people at least get their feet wet without spending hardly any money at all to get out there. And last year, I was just impressed with the quality of the racing and the program that they put on, and so we're really excited. Well, you're right, I've heard numbers of 30 to 40 cars this year.
I know I'm really looking forward to this year opening up. My first time out to the Speedway was during Fall Fest, and you guys put on one heck of a show. I mean, you guys are real timely with anything. You had a lot of cars, but I'm really excited about this new limited late model class that you got going on. What spawned that?
You know, every track in our area has really struggled that's run late models, and of late, all but one or two of them have dropped the late model class. And when I started this, when I bought the track and I started promoting it, I wanted to run late models, and I think we actually did for part of our first season. And just found that I understood the issue and why everybody wasn't doing that. And I was told by a couple promoters that would be the case, but it has to do with the cost of the cars themselves. And so the drivers want to race for a certain amount of money, and the problem with the promoters is they can't pay that amount of money. And I think the drivers really do understand that issue, but that doesn't allow us to run them still, and they have to race for a certain amount. And so the only way to really fix that problem is to lower the cost for them to race. And that's not as easy as it sounds, because you still have to maintain the quality of racing. And so, you know, you can just throw a little motor in them and say, okay, now it's cheaper, but if they can't race with one another, that's no good either. So it's kind of a big undertaking to come up with a rules package that takes that cost out of it. but still maintains the racing. And I'm sure that we'll continue to tweak that a little bit once we get them on the Speedway. But, you know, there was really 4 main issues, I think. You know, it was tire cost, fuel cost, motor cost, and shock cost.
Right.
And those are the 4 issues that we addressed. And I think now we have a late model class that is probably as cheap or cheaper than a B-mod class.
I was really surprised. I had heard some numbers and some figures, and a lot of it was really early and stuff, and I'm sure that, you know, those numbers are really loose, but I was really, really surprised at how affordable it seemed. And I know my wife at home, she's probably not too excited about hearing it from me, but I thought that's something I could do again. You know?
Right, yeah, no, exactly. And, you know, to be honest with you, I mean, I've been racing for 20, 25 years also, and I've spent a lot of money racing modifieds, and I love the class, and I think the class is doing well. But I'm to the point where I'm out here and I'm doing it more just because I like to be at the racetrack, and so I can see myself eventually getting in one of these classes. And I think when you get a guy like me that's been racing one class for so long, thinking about that,
right,
there's got to be other people thinking about that, and even other guys that have quit because they got tired of spending as much money as they did, that are like, you know, I miss racing, I like to come back, and this is a class that I can afford to do. And if you come here, you can see the cars are cool, and from a fan perspective, they're not going to know the difference. They're not even going to notice the changes that we made.
The cars that showed up today, I really like the look of a dirt car anyway, but the way that these guys get these things lettered up with the wraps and the different colors and so on and so forth, I mean, it really showcases what you guys got going on out there. And this is a beautiful set. I got to give you guys a big high five on this one. This looks really nice.
Yeah, I couldn't even. I knew it was going to probably be a good weekend for the car show, but it was pretty amazing. I think this is probably the biggest one that we've had. And I mean, honestly, just looking around here, some of the nicest looking cars that I've seen for a while. I think these guys did an amazing job in the off season.
And then I talk about that as well as it doesn't matter whether you're in an A-mod or a Hornet. And as you see a lot more nowadays, the different tracks you travel to, whether it's asphalt or dirt, people are really starting to pay attention to their cars. They're not just slapping duct tape numbers on, spray painting here and there, and you see it as you look around here at Sugarloaf Ford. These guys, whether they're a Hornet or a late model, they're really paying attention to how they look, and they're taking care of their sponsors when they do that.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously it shows, and yeah, it's really cool, and it's cool for the fans to come and see them on the racetrack, especially under the lights. I mean, these cars are neon, and I mean, they just pop when we turn the lights on them, and so it adds an element to the racing that maybe you don't see in some of the other classes, you know, or some of the other kinds of racing. So pretty cool deal. Lots of nice looking equipment here.
We open up on a Friday night. If you want more information, the entire season schedule, we got the big shows coming up again. The Baby B-Mod Challenge, the huge B-Mod show at the end of the year. Late models, a full Hornet class this year. Mushroom and Swiss. Got to throw a plug in for the Mushroom and Swiss. You can find it at MississippiThunder.com, one of the best websites to find a lot of information. You can also go on Facebook. You've got the Mississippi Thunder on the Facebook this year. And, of course, the TV station will keep you up to date as what's going on throughout the race season. Bob, we appreciate you coming on, and I'm ready to sling some dirt.
Hey, thank you. And, again, I appreciate all you guys do promoting short track racing in our area. We couldn't do it with all you guys' help.
Absolutely.
All right, Bob Timm, owner and operator, along with his entire family that get that dirt track running each and every Friday night. And he's going to deal with Mother Nature this year. No rainouts, none. We want to go from Friday night all the way through October and get a full season in. When we come back, I should say, we're going to keep it right here. We're going to talk more dirt track racing with a lot of the drivers that are here on Seven Rivers Racing.